In this part of the learning, I will work with you on the design of your marketing section in the business plan. As I mentioned to the terms on entrepreneurial marketing before, and this is a set of unconventional marketing activities for those who are trying to create a startup or small and medium enterprises. And remember, there are quite a number of genuine characteristics of entrepreneurial marketing that make it differ from the traditional marketing. For example, we don't have that much budget to create or to spend on the large-scale marketing activities. Second, we may have to work with a particular niche market because our targeting can be quite clear, and they may be large, but at the first steps, from my experience, we tend to work with particular groups of market whom we can manage them. And the third, it has to be the innovative elements, and some of us focus on technology as part of the marketing. For example, the product design, the way you involve with logistics and pricing, marketing communication, or all of that. Okay, so this make startup and those who create startup, the entrepreneur, tend to think of the unconventional way of conducting marketing activities. So in this part, we will focus on how to design this and a particular aspect on what should be included in the business plan. Well, this question is important. In your slide, I asked you to identify your marketing objectives, and then you need to be clear on what you need to achieve. In the marketing plan or marketing section in the business plan, usually we tend to see two important parts. First, it's the activity itself, and second, the budget. But behind that, you have to talk about strategies that you need to focus at the first, the third, or the fifth phase of your business activities. So we will go into this detail together in order to help you to work on this aspect. Okay. Remember, I discussed this before. Some aspect of the entrepreneurial marketing can be quite different from generic marketing, and it is worth by looking at the concept from various perspectives. Okay, I call this the essential characteristic of the entrepreneurial marketing. Well, first of all, we talk about innovations. And we realize that characteristic of entrepreneurial marketing is it's innovative. That's all, innovation. And innovative firms or SME or startup has the ability to ensure a flow of new ideas. By maintaining such a flow, it is possible to come up with new products and services. And well, we can confirm that the world has become extremely competitive, even though we are facing crisis time after time, as we are at the moment. It is crucial for us to gain the upper hand by focusing on being innovative, right? And hence, this part of the marketing plan can be quite related to the innovation section in the business plan as well. If there is something that you can do to differentiate yourself in a better way, you will be able to attract customers. In this sense, entrepreneurial marketing depends heavily on innovativeness. People are drawn to innovation, and if you can provide them with something new or different, they are likely to take an interest in what you have to offer. Okay, so this major part we can see. Okay, the concept of risk management is another aspect. Okay, well, it's not a surprise at all. Entrepreneurs like to take risks. They need to focus on risk management at the same time. And entrepreneurship is all about risk calculation. That requires the identification of risk factors and attempts to mitigate or control those risk factors altogether. Entrepreneurial marketing relies on the management of risks. It is integral to its success. Without proper risk management, you are likely to fail. Hence, you need to learn more about risk management on the marketing activities. For example, when you design new way to communicate your brand or a new way to create awareness, it could be something that quite controversial for traditional company, but you might see this as the way to get free publicity, right? And it comes with risks. Another aspect which I think is important is value creation. Okay, remember that value creation is also the essence of entrepreneurial activities. In designing the marketing mix, you will have to focus on what you really want to create as your value. When you provide value, you got to show customer that your product or your service is worth the cost, pretty much, and you have to understand the fact that the value that you decide will be what is needed by your customer. Pretty much, value can be the sole factor, or it could be additional to existing value in the marketplace. All right. So in this part, value creation can be achieved through mechanisms of technology, people, or network from the startup ecosystem. Right. So all of this will be quite a number of points to explain different points from traditional marketing when you design your entrepreneurial marketing. Right. Let me start with the black box model. Right. You must be familiar with this. The model itself is what we adopted from general marketing studies and consumer behavior. So in a nutshell, it said that in our mind as consumers, we have got to make the decision to purchase, right? I want you to look in the middle here at the decision process. Problems recognition, information search, alternative evaluation, purchase decision, post-purchase behavior. You can see the hierarchy of that. From the first step, problem recognition, might be so hungry, walking on the street and say, I feel like testing or eating something. But then your attitude towards fast food may be very negative. So you try to think of the really healthy food, right? So that's something that motivates you to delete the choice of fast and unhealthy food from your mindset. You think about green, you think about something that is highly nutritious. It may not be so easy to purchase, but you will search for it. Okay. Then information search, which can be something that pop up in your head from the past experience, or you start to look for formal and informal sources. Then you come up with 5 choices of restaurant. You select one, and then the judgment started. Oh, it's great. I'll come back again, right? And the cycle will repeat itself. You can see that the decision process can be combined with a lot of characteristics of yourself: attitudes, motivation, personality, lifestyle, understanding of issues, knowledge. Okay, so this is called the buyer black box. It is combining into big integral part, and it's not so easy to understand since it really depends upon individual experiences and history in life. But when you look at the left-hand side here, the environmental factors, there are 2 aspects or 2 factors. The environmental stimuli include the pretty much the general conditions such as economic condition, political condition, cultural factors, demographic, and technological. All of this can be macro factors that enhance your choice, the way you decide. For example, you might be so interested in nutritious food or product because of the motivation to be healthy, and because the lifestyle you had is into healthy lifestyle. But there is limitation in your food choice because of the political and or demographic factors. For example, you might travel into one place where the options of foods can be quite limited because of the ability to produce food, right? So that's environmental stimuli. That may be the factor that impede or promote your decision process. All right. Another aspect which we are working is marketing stimuli, and pretty much that 4 Ps. And in this part, we are going to focus on this, how to design the so-called product, price, place, and promotion in order to fit in the decision process and buyer characteristics, right? And all of this, you see, it just happened in the black box, the mindset, which we try to simplify and try to make it clear to those to design marketing activities for entrepreneurs. And I think it might take a bit of time for us to think of your own business. In the next session, I will go into details of how to design each. But I like you to think through your business plan assignment, since you might be able to compare your understanding and adopt this part of the learning into your assignment in the next step. Well, remember, we discussed the concept of market analysis from the beginning of this topic. We think of the way to paint a picture of the market. You need to analyze essential information in order to make a conclusion on the impact of the market factors, such as consumers, competition, suppliers, and the other forces that may affect your potential business. So in a nutshell, market analysis gives you an examination of the totality of the business environment in which you are competing. And some of you might be familiar with generic management tools such as 5 Forts or SWOT analysis. Remember, when you use them, what important here is not just to show it's that you use the tool, but you need to make the conclusion from the tools. For example, if you use Pestle, you have to tell it of all these 6-7 factors, which one seems to have a strong effect on your business and why, and how would you plan to mitigate it or support it, okay, because it could be positive or negative. And under the attractiveness of the market, I mentioned that target customers in terms of understanding their genuine characteristic and the size, the number, as well as the process in running business will be important for us to capture in the marketing analysis. Well, after the market analysis, then we are going to talk about the way we design the ingredients for our business through the marketing mix. Okay. Marketing mix might be terms that we are familiar with, but we tend to focus a lot on things such as advertising or promotion or social media. That is only certain small element, just one facet of the marketing mix, which describe the basic set of strategies and approaches that marketer use to identify and reach their target market. Okay, we discussed target market before from the STP section. Once you know your target market, you know your T, then you have to think of P, the way you identify your P that fit in your T. Okay, one common way of understanding and remembering the components of the marketing mix, you just have to think about the way they can be integrated. Okay, they seems to be related to the design of so-called product, price, place, and promotion. If you look at this element, I insist that for entrepreneurs, the big picture view of how your business be present to the market segment in which you will compete will be very important. Okay, this question might be quite useful for you in terms of thinking or reflecting on your design of the mix. Let's start with the product element. Okay, product refers to a good or service that creates value by fulfilling a customer need or desire, right? Simply, goods are tangible product. On the other hand, service, something of intangible, you may not be able to touch it, but there's standard for that. Okay, and for its entrepreneurs, if you run startup, a tech startup, or fintech, we do offer mostly basically the service aspect of the business, but we try to tangibilize by creating some tangible product or goods into it, right? So the component can bundle both tangible, intangible good and service together to create extra value for the customers. Okay, for startup, defining the value of the product they are going to offer is an important step toward identifying the competitive advantage within the marketplace. On a basic level, if you don't know what benefit your product provides or what need it fulfills, neither will your customer. That's very simple, right? If you think of the terms value proposition, think about this. What do you really offer in the product aspect? Does it mean you are offering the value proposition through the product? I mean, through goods or services, right? If you think of things that we try to simplify in terms of product, it can be quality of the product that is new, that give you the solution for something, or it's interesting from the design perspective, the brand itself, the package, or the service or after sales service as part of this. Okay, product failures cost this companies, including a startup, a lot of havoc, and it is important that you focus upon new product development strategy if you try to create the new solution for the new marketplace. And of course, this is really dependent upon the scale of your product. Pricing. In terms of pricing, I think we may be familiar with the generic strategy by new companies in the marketplace. You know, pricing can be quite challenging or difficult, because when you try to make sense of the price, it refers to the value that must be exchanged for a customer to receive a product or service. And this is usually in the monetary terms and has a direct impact on sales. I remember look at the literature in this area. They seem to report that entrepreneurs are intimidated by financials and the prospect of using statements and other information to make projections. Okay, and then you may fail to think of proper pricing strategy. There are quite a number of strategies that we can think of. For example, profit-oriented. You look at a way to involve taking the cost of making the product and creating a profit margin. And this is how much profit your business stands to make after costs have been deducted. Okay. Sell-oriented, you are looking at kind of, in other words, we call penetration pricing. Perhaps in this strategy, you charge below competitors, and that can give you a competitive advantage in the sense that it might lead you to, you know, the comfort zone of the customer who switch back to you. But at the same time, it can also create the price war between you and the competitor. Okay, the might be some other objectives such as premium pricing or the odd number pricing, customer-led pricing, which means pricing led by the customer. You ask what the consumer is willing to pay and charge that. You see that in some of these services in the smaller sites. Lastly, the pricings. Here they use a below standard price to attract business in the hope that customer will stay and shop for other more profitable products. Okay, this can be quite interesting for some industry such as certain food shopping, grocery items. Okay, or bundling can be part of the pricing as well. While pricing must be established when starting a new business, pricing strategy should be reviewed on an ongoing basis. And if you think about consideration, should be when adding a new product or service to your offering. Think about price when you demand shift, that because of the market change or consumer change, when entering a new marketplace, when competitors are making changes, when your costs are changing, or when adjusting products or service strategies. Right, pricing can be quite sensitive in that sense. So depends on how you really position yourself in the marketplace. The next element is plates. Okay, that's referred to the channel or location, physical or digital, where customers can purchase your products or your services. It is sometimes called distribution, as you know. For us entrepreneur, the choice of place lies in figuring out which channels will create the most profit. In other words, which channel will reach the majority of the target market at the cost efficient level. Choosing the right distribution channel is one way to create a competitive advantage and generate more success for the business. Certain channels have specific capabilities, such as reaching more customers, providing promotions, and providing credit. I was thinking of one of the team, the very first team that portrayed the idea on warehousing, and this can also promote the competitive price for customer, as well as another edge, which is safety. Okay, when you think of the concept of place here, you can think of direct channel, indirect channel. If it's indirect, you might need an intermediary, okay, sales agent or distributor to help you to sell product to the end customer. So the press itself can be also a combination of your collaboration with partners such as department store, food store, the community mall, wherever you can have your products or goods out there in the marketplace and get it exposed to the customer. That will be a good way to promote it. And from my experience, SME tend to do it quite well because we look at the focus strategies, so we know which particular channels we opt to go to. Promotion mix is the fourth element of the marketing mix. Okay, I found this concept of promotion is quite interesting for most marketing, whether it's from traditional marketing or entrepreneur marketing, because it's the most outstanding element of the marketing mix. It's what people see, it's what your clients see, what your competitors see, right? So promotion play a number of important roles at the psychological level of organization and individual. The literature talk about traditional IMC for promotion mix, whereby you try to integrate key communication tools such as advertising, public relation, personal selling, salesperson, and mix them with the frequency. So when you do it again and again and again, it emphasizes the message to the audience. But the world has shifted more into the digital elements. So promotion can become something that we portray in the digital platform quite easily. This day, if you look at Discourse, for example, or when you think of electronic marketplace or application that help you, promotion mix can think of ways to combine place and promotion at the same time. Okay, so if you think of the purpose of communication, particular for entrepreneurial process, similar to those from the big corporate, but perhaps we have less detail. We think of awareness raising. We think of providing consideration, which means they start to have strong interest in the product and service, and then decision when they make the final choice. So at each and every step here, you have to think of the fact that there will be some cultural factors to promote or demote it as well. Okay, when you think of the new way, I think communication is important because we can use it to communicate and make sense of our product or service to the customers. Well, in the old days, if we talk about integrated marketing, that was perfectly fine. But with the invention of the internet, so things such as content marketing, influencer marketing, and online interaction seems to be quite common for this generation. So in a nutshell, you have to talk about questions or key questions or consideration that you will use when you design your marketing mix. What are the practical benefit offer customers? Okay, for price, what pricing strategy should be adopted? Plates, what can be seen the most effective way? Which technology should be used? How to be creative and effective in communication? What message? What we ask in promotion? Okay, so the key consideration strategy. Right? I mentioned product strategy as one of the powerful tools for most companies. The pricing strategy, we have a lot: premium, economy, psychology, penetration. And I explain all of this. Promotion, you have to think about selling for and what are their interests, and communicate that message directly or indirectly to your clients.